7 short months ago, we had a video game called DanganRonpa Trigger Happy Havoc come out. I bought the game on a whim without knowing a single thing about it besides the name and a short synopsis of the story. What I got was an incredible visual novel and energetic courtroom-style battles, a huge likable cast of characters, well-written dialogue, even though maybe the translation wasn't the best, and a story that went to insane but interesting places. It was the definition of a surprise. I was not expecting much, but of course I bought it, so I should have been expecting at least something, and I got way more than something. I love that game, I really did. So 7 months later, we got DanganRonpa 2 Goodbye Despair. What did I think of it? Well, let me just tell you this. DanganRonpa 2 Goodbye Despair not only blows the first game out of the water, but it is one of the best games I've played in a very long time, and that is saying so much, man. I played stuff like BioShock Infinite and Last of Us and Grand Theft Auto 5 not too long ago, and this is really almost on top, like it's almost with those games. It's not better, maybe not, video game wise it definitely isn't, but like just story wise it's really close. I love this game. It had such a good story all the way throughout, interesting, great characters. There's 16 high school students in this game that you're supposed to get to know, including your main character Hajime, and you're supposed to get to know all these characters in the span of around 30 to 35 hours, and you get to know so much about these characters. You get to know their personalities, their backstories, who they are as a person, which I guess would fit personality, but still, I really loved getting to know all these new characters, and I have to say, I loved the cast of characters in the first game, but there were some, misses here and there, some characters I didn't get to really start to like until much later into the game. Here, I just pretty much automatically fell in love with all the characters here, and some of them I really had a big personal connection with. I was just like, oh, I love this character, and I hope he or she doesn't die, because this game, if you do not know, is all about killing your friends, taking away your friends. This game is not a nice video game. The story here is very similar to the first game, where you play as a new character, Hajime Hanata, who is going to this high school called Hope's Peak Academy, which only accepts the best of the best students, all of the ultimates, the people that are really good at a specific thing, like an ultimate hairdresser or ultimate musician or whatever. And Hajime is one of them. He goes into the school, immediately just falls down and wakes up in a tropical paradise called Jabberwock Island. He finds all the other students, all 15 of the other ultimates, and he has to figure out why he's there. At first it seems very calm, very peaceful, and then of course the evil Monokuma from the first game shows back up, who of course is a plushy bear. That's right, I said a plushy bear, not even a real bear, he's a plushie, with one side of his face white, one side of his face black. He just looks evil. You look at him and go, that's not gonna be a good guy in this game. He's going to be the villain, and he is definitely the villain. He shows up, destroys all that peaceful, hopeful stuff that's going on the island. Everybody's having a fun time. He shows up and says, hey, screw that. I don't like this stuff, all this peace crap. No, guess what? Killing school life once again, just like in the first game. Now you guys have to kill each other, and if you don't, you have to stay on this island forever. Of course, killings start to actually happen, and you have to do the class trials where you have to figure out who killed who. If the person that did kill someone gets away with it, that means they get to leave the island, and everybody else that stays on the island gets punished, meaning they die, pretty much. And I really love the premise of the first game. It's pretty much the same premise at first on this game, except it's on an island, and you have, just brand new characters. It's the same premise, but let me just tell you, if you think it's going to go to the same places that the first game did, you are completely wrong. There are so many twists and turns with characters and the story elements and stuff. There's just so many twists and turns. I love it. I love when a game can perform a twist that really catches me off guard, and not many games can do that nowadays, and this game got me a couple times. Actually, I would say a few times. It really has some really good just twists and turns. I keep saying that, but I really have to emphasize that this game really does pull a fast one on you a few times. The story, the characters, the writing, the twists and turns, the overall originality is what really deserves praise. It's some of the best out there, and it really just kept me fixated. I really couldn't stop playing this game for a long time. I mean, a bunch of other games came out, like hell, even Destiny came out. I was like, nope, gotta finish DanganRonpa. I need to see what happens next. Screw Destiny, I'll be there forever. This game will be too, but I still need to see what happens. And in that aspect, it is an amazing visual novel that I would love to see expanded into maybe novels, kind of like what they do with some of the other video games out there like BioShock and Dead Space, where they have novels to explain some other things. I would love to have those. I would love to read those. Hell, even if it's a manga, I would probably check it out, which I actually think there is a manga out there, so maybe I will check that out. But still, I would love to see this expanded more and more into books, because let me tell you this, gameplay-wise, I liked it. But it's not the best out there, because people, you have to remember, this is a video game. There is gameplay. There is game elements to it where it does feel like a game, but they aren't the best. They are definitely not as good as the story. Alright, so when a murder occurs, which there is definitely going to be a murder that occurs, you have to investigate the area, where that means you have to pretty much point and click and find things and find evidence and stuff so you can use for the class trial. In the class trial, you have to use this evidence that you collected through the investigation part to pretty much like poke holes into people's testimonies and stuff, and kind of back the killer into a corner and figure out who it is. It's kind of like Phoenix Wright in that aspect, if you've ever played Phoenix Wright, and that's actually a lot of fun. It's actually very fast paced, which I really like. It feels more action based because you actually have to use these evidence as bullets in a way, and have to actually pretty much shoot the testimonies, and which I really liked in the first game, and I really like in this game as well. It's actually a lot of fun. But when you get into the mini game aspect, where the game really wants to become an actual video game, it really falters because the mini games are not that great. There's a couple that are very, very generic. Like there's one called Hangman's Gambit, where you have to actually shoot letters and try to figure out what the word is in the game. It makes more sense when you actually play the game than it does for me to explain it. There's one called Logic Dive, where it's pretty much a racer in a way, where you have to actually race in your mind on a hoverboard and have to jump over obstacles and figure out questions and stuff. There's a couple other ones, but for the most part they're kind of generic and not that great really, and just really just there to make the game longer for no reason really. But really, they are mini games. They don't really increase the length of the game too much. Maybe the most an hour in the entire game. But that's really it. That's all. And I still love this game, even with the fact that the mini games kind of got a little irritating sometimes. I mean, they're not terrible, but they're still irritating because, you know, I'm getting into the class trial and then out of nowhere, boom, I have to do a freaking mini game that I don't like. I'm just like, come on, can't I just like do another testimony? I would love to do that. I mean, I like that they're trying to give it variety, but still. But you know what? All that stuff I can easily forgive, because when the game is over, the 35-hour game is over, they actually give you more stuff you can do, a bunch of extra stuff you can look at, a whole novel you can read. Okay, maybe not a whole novel, but you know, a cool little thing you can read, and it's actually interesting. And you get to actually go back into the island and go talk to the people that you didn't get a chance to talk to. All the people that died and stuff, you get to go talk to them again and build the relationships again and stuff if you want, or build the relationships that you never did because they died too quickly or whatever. You get to know these characters more and more, and I love that. So you know what, the mini games are completely negated with the, I mean, just for the fact that they give you so much content for a $40 game. I highly recommend this. This is my game of the year of this year so far, and I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I really have no complaints. Voice acting, story, even the gameplay, besides maybe the mini games, just the characters, I love all of them. I love this game, I really did. And the ending, oh my god, the ending is superb, and it blows the first one's ending out of the water. The mini games, not great, but really, they're so small in comparison to everything else that I can't really give it too much crap for that. So there you go. I think DanganRonpa 2 is a 10 out of 10. You have to go check this game out. Play the first one, get this one, and love it. Love it, because it's so good. I love DanganRonpa. Yeah, I love it so much. But you know what, Spike Chunsoft? You need to make a Zero Escape 3 now, and then a DanganRonpa 3, or maybe both of them at the same time. I would love that. I would love to play both of those at the same time. I love your games, guys. I really do. We need more. So there you go. Thank you, and goodbye.
Saw you, you know. That means you have no alibi.
No, that's wrong. Now then, Hajime, will you battle against me?
This is almost like a real trial. Things are starting to get exciting.